terms. What we're going to do for this, it is frozen. Great. What is happening? Remind me to edit that out. Okay, key terms. You read the definition. We provide the term. Term group. Here we go. Scarlett.
Attempt to overthrow the government after Alexander I dies.
The Decembrist revolt. Very good. Next term, Sydney.
Russia versus Europe. Russian defeat. Alexander II fails. Crimean War.
Crimean War. Now, one thing you might want to do as we're covering these, provide the Czar. Okay? Next term, Stepnowski.
Czar of Russia, he embraced liberal ideas. He was good. He believed in changes and liberal ideas by promoting education failure. Alexander I.
Very good. Now, on your definition sheet, go ahead and underline good or highlight good. That way, it's easy to distinguish our effective versus ineffective, taking in consideration human rights, czars. Okay? Now, before we advance, we need to make notion of this. No matter where you see this, it's basically the same title, which ultimately means ruler or emperor. Okay?
What's the difference?
The difference is depending on the perspective you're taking in history. CZAR, that version of czar, is to take into recognition Caesar, whereas the other is just emperor. Okay, next term, Ms. Kelly.
Czar of Russia, goods, sets up a new government, many legal reforms, free censorship, is a failure. The people want to kill him.
Very good. Next term, Sydney.
Czar of Russia, very bad. Receives the harsh measures of Nicholas I, created Russification.
Russification.
We got that word, ethnic cleansing in Russia. Alexander III.
Excellent, excellent. Next term, Ms. Stepnowski.
Czar of Russia, bad censorship enforces. Believes in absolutism and orthodoxy. All Jews are killed on sight.
Okay. Next term, Mr. Kelly.
Czar of Russia, good. Industrialization occurs, creates October Manifesto. Bloody Sunday occurs because he betrays the people and places open fire on everyone in sight.
Wonderful. Next term, Sydney.
A political terrorist group in which the goal was to kill government officials. People's will.
The People's Will. Excellent. Ms. Stepnowski.
Ethnic cleansing in Russia.
Good. With Russification, ethnic cleansing, one idea you want to basically have here, Asian meaning a process. We almost have all of Russia. The process of becoming more Russian. Okay? The idea if you purge your country of anyone who is non-Russian in the eyes of the monarch, your country, in a sense, will become more Russian. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, it's grotesque and inherently wrong, but it's history. Next term.
Financial minister of Nicholas II, he built the Siberian Railway. Serge Witt.
Sergei Witt. Very good. That's our pronunciation. Moving on.
When Nicholas II betrays people and his word and police kill everyone in the crowd. Bloody Sunday.
Horrific event that Nicholas II will hold them dearly. Next term.
The Russian Bill of Rights. October Manifesto.
Very good. Now, what do we know of the American Bill of Rights? What do they guarantee?
Our rights.
Life, liberty,
Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, freedom of speech. Okay, those are basically your freedoms. Now, one thing I want you to understand with this, the October Manifesto is more along the lines of the same thing. Okay, just hailing over in Russia. Final term.
The Prime Minister of Tsar Nicholas II, responsible for pogroms and violent attacks on Jews.
Peter Stolipin, very good. Leave this up here for a couple seconds. Remember, this will be available online on YouTube for you all to access. Okay, here we go. Alexander I. What do we know of Alex I? Seth.
I say that he's good. He was once an ally of Napoleon. He planned to divide Europe. if he held the bullying a continental system.
Good. No, absolutely. Now, one thing, again, with taking these notes, that whole theory of cut the fluff, okay? I'm going to underline certain things. As long as you have what I underline or circle, or the additional comments I make, you're going to be just fine. But if you need to write word for word, the whole PowerPoint will be available eventually. Okay? Embrace liberal ideas. What does liberal mean? Nate? Freed, all-encompassing, considering all, very good. Okay? So that being said, liberal ideas would be the relinquishing of censorship. So he eased censorship. Now that being said, what does censorship mean? Alex?
Like, if they can't talk freely about the king or whatever.
Right. You can't speak certain ideas, you can't publish certain documents, certain writings about the king. Okay? Or really anyone at that point. It could just be mainstream Russian society. Okay? He later on will back off because he's losing noble support. Nobles in Russia or nobles anywhere have a lot of what?
Money.
Money. If you're losing your financial backing, your country's moving in the wrong direction. Okay? So that's not going to work for Alex first. Nicholas the First. Fowler.
Had harsh methods to wipe out liberals and revolutionaries, increase the power of the secret police, restore strict censorship, and exile critics to Siberia, and also use Russification to ban books and suppress cultures of non-Russian people.
Very good. Okay? They're terrified of Western Europe. Now, why would an all-powerful, absolute monarch be terrified of Western Europe? Industrialization to an extent. What else is hailing from Western Europe that could make them fearful? Nate?
The people are gaining power.
People are gaining power and rights. Now, if you're an absolute monarch, that's just unacceptable. Okay? You want to preserve your power. People start having ideas of democracy and freedoms. Ooh, that's going to challenge what you have going on. You don't want that. Okay? Use police to hunt out critics. Now, we're familiar with the CIA, FBI. We've heard of them before?
Yes.
Now, that would be an example of you using these two government bodies to essentially remove anyone who doesn't like you. Okay? Ultimately, exiling them to this region. Now that being said, can someone describe Siberia?
Cold.
Cold. What else do we know? Harsh. Not a positive place to be if you don't know what you're doing in the wilderness. Okay? Or if you're a caribou or a polar bear. You'll be alright there. Now, that being said, most people that were sent here, did they ever come back?
No.
No. We don't really know what happened, but you can essentially use your imagination. Okay? In pillars of absolutism, meaning what? Absolute. Explain him. If he's using absolutism as a doctrine.
Absolute power.
Absolute power, absolute rule. Very good. He is number one. Okay? And you are nowhere to challenge him. Orthodoxy, we're looking at the Eastern Orthodox Church there. Autocracy and nationalism. Nationalism meaning pride for your country. Very good. Excellent. Alexander II. Mr. Gilbert.
Alexander II set up a system of local government, came to the throne in 1855. Alexander II agreed to reforms that required, freeing of serfs.
Very good. Reforms of freeing the serf. Anytime that you can essentially take a whole portion of your society and grant them almost instantaneous freedom, you're going to look as what kind of a ruler?
Good.
Very good. Positive. You granted a whole portion of society, once again, their freedom. Okay, set up a system of local government, introduced legal reform, eased censorship, and tried to reform the military. Essentially, one thing you need to remember with Alex II is he's trying to pull the country from the backwards direction that previous rulers have maintained. Okay? Now, another thing to consider, remember when we started the class with our feudal triangles, including serfdom and Clinton?
Yes.
Okay? Russia's still there. All these other nations have progressed forward. The United States has ended slavery. Russia's still into serfdom. How much progress is occurring in Mother Russia right now? Next to none. But again, if you're an absolute monarch, you're okay with this. Okay? Look who's in power. Look who has voices. That system works for these kings. Okay? Moving forward. Alexander III. Blake.
Wanted to wipe out liberals, increase power of secret police, restored strict censorship. He launched a program of Russification, insisted on one language and one church. The persecution of Jews in Russia increased, as well as the bad treatment of Jews, and had his son Nicholas II.
Very good. Okay, revisited the process of Nicholas I. Power of the secret police, as Nicholas I just did. The same notion as far as exiling your critics, taking them out essentially, making people relocate forcefully. Okay? Exiled critics to Siberia. Once again, Russification. That's the process of the nation becoming more Russian. Make sure you understand this. More Russian. Process. More Russian. Okay? If you can remove those who are culturally different, you have created what is known as a homogeneous society, meaning relatively all the same. Alright? Persecution of the Jews increased under him through the use of pogroms. Systematic government processes to remove or reduce the power of these people. Okay? Final Tsar, Nicholas II. Kayla?
He industrialized the nation. The government focused on economic development. He encouraged the building of railroads to connect iron and coal mines with factories. He was good.
He was good. Okay, finally enters the industrial age under him. All right, we have several czars that are not ultimately concerned with that because, again, once people start earning money, they begin to have more ideas because they're receiving education and starting to challenge the old order. Okay, betrayed the people on Bloody Sunday, forced to announce reforms, which he will do in the October Manifesto. Once again, that's the Russian what?
Bill of Rights.
Very good. Russian Bill of Rights. B of R. Okay? Freedoms. Make sure we have this. Okay? Agreed to summon the Duma or a Russian legislature. On your homework, this will appear as a governing body. That being said, Russian legislature, a governing body, working with your czar. In our system of government in the United States, how would that compare to us? What are we looking at here? Nate?
Checks and balances.
Checks and balances to an extent. These guys are going to be like an advisory board, though, for the most part. What would that body of politicians be called?
Like the cabinet?
Not quite the cabinet, more powerful than that. You're on the right track, though. Senate is one half of it, which together are known as Congress. Very good. Make sure we have that down. Okay? This, the Russian legislature, almost as a Congress, but more as an advisory committee, like our cabinet with what Mr. Decker provided. Okay? Any questions? Excellent. Oops, sorry. Objectives. Explain why attempts to reform Russia often failed. Lizzie.
Economically undeveloped, Russia's rigid social structure still contains serfs, and nobles have little interest in industrialization.
Excellent. Poor economy, social structure, you could have backwards, meaning there's a great wealth of people that are at the bottom of the social structure with little to no say in anything. Okay? All-powerful monarchs, so we have CZARs, czars, all-powerful. Progress not necessary. Excellent. Okay? Because you don't want to establish any kind of reform because that challenges your power as the almighty in your nation. Describe how Russia tried to modernize and industrialize. Miller.
Nobles had little interest in industrialization. Serfs were anticipated. Zemstvos, I don't know how to say that. Zemstvos were town or local councils
Okay. So we have free the serfs, local councils set up. More say to the people there. Anything else we have here? Lizzie?
Alexander II encouraged industry.
We have an example of Alex 2, encouraging industry. Who's ultimately going to do it?
Nicholas.
There, which one?
Second.
Excellent. Alex 2 encourages industry. Nicholas II achieves it. Again, these are shortened up for you. Bam. Gets it. Outline the causes and results of the Revolution of 1905. So we'll split this into two, causes and results. What are the causes of this? Nate?
Bloody Sunday destroyed faith in the Czar.
Okay, Bloody Sunday. What else do we have? Why was Bloody Sunday fought? The conflict there. What's that?
He betrayed the people.
How did he betray the people? Like, what is he promising that never comes?
Freedom.
Freedoms are not given, okay? Other items you should have here, the use of the people's will. Again, that's our terrorist group. And then ultimately, workers are exceptionally unhappy due to conditions. Workers, sad face. Okay? Results of this conflict. What occurs?
Please excuse this interruption. I've been told to report the students who are driving home to be very careful. We've had a report that the back roads, dirt roads, are very icy, so please be careful on your way home.
Lovely.
Results. Nate.
In the October Manifesto, the Czar declared the Duma, and Peter Stolypin tried even more reform.
Very good. October Manifesto, Stolypin tries initial reforms. Any questions? Okay, remember your October Manifesto is the Russian Bill of Rights. Homework tonight, the remainder of the homework packet. Make sure you do both pages, the map and Section 5.
Mr. Joy.